Warning: the following podcast contains violent scenes that may be unsettling to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
The post-Civil War landscape of the American West offers escape and opportunities to many new immigrants who come to the country's shore. A few of them brave the journey to the camp town of Missouri Crossing, each looking for a new lease on life in the Dakota Territories. Join the settlers of Missouri Crossing, including Gregory Smith, played by Joaquin, Sister Margaret Miller, played by Monica, Bjorn Hagman, played by Chris, and Craig as the Keeper of Arcane Lore, as we explore the horrors that await us on Down Darker Trails. Bjorn, you're hightailing it back on your horse towards the where you last left the camp, but you're not sure exactly where you're going to encounter them along the way. Can I get both a ride and a survival roll?
Yes, sir. So I'll do the ride first. 56 out of 50, which is not a success. And survival, 45 out of 30, which is not a success.
Bend your luck, please.
Oh, yes, I can. Can I?
You can spend luck, or you can push a roll. And
okay.
If you do, tell me which one you're going to do.
First things first. That's a very good idea. I'm glad you said that. I'm going to spend the luck to make the ride roll, and I'm going to spend 6 to get that down to 50 to be a success. So that puts me down to 26. And then for the survival roll, man, can you recharge luck?
Very often.
So I'll do the ride since that's my priority. I want to ride. I want to get there, get them their food. And then the survival roll, I'll just fail because I don't want to push it because it's 30 and the odds are not in my favor for that. So I'm at 26 luck.
All right. You're getting back to where you think you should be encountering them, but you haven't come across a camp yet. And you're starting to not recognize a lot of the features of the land. You know, you can't be too far off because you're still hugging the Mississippi, but you're just having a difficult time encountering them, and you just haven't seen, you're not sure if it's you just haven't seen them yet, or if it's dark and you don't see the fires, or maybe they changed their position. So what do you want to do, Bjorn?
Man, I'm going to try I'm really kind of in a predicament. So I'm going to try to see, I am in a predicament. You know what I mean? I really am. I'm going to see if I can find any tracks that show okay, if this is the area where I think they are, they had to leave tracks if they're moving as a large group. Is it dark out now or is it daytime out?
It's dark because you traveled after only breaking for a few hours.
So unfortunately, I can't do tracking at night. You know what I mean? Out here.
Well, you can roll, but
yeah, I'm sure it's going to be more difficult, or is it going to?
It'll be more difficult, but you can still do it.
How much? Oh, I got a 50 right now and track. What would it be with it being dark out?
You would roll the skill, and your degree of success will help inform what you're looking for.
I'm going to try to roll it just to see if I can do it now, and then if it doesn't work, then I may have to do it the first light,
Sure.
25. So I got half of my skill.
So that's a great success for you then.
Awesome.
So you keep riding and you're looking around, looking for tracks. Maybe you missed them, but you're thinking maybe you missed them, or maybe they took a shortcut to try to catch up with you. And you're just thinking, well, if they kept to the plan, they should be here by now. But you're kind of starting to get into a little bit of panic, and then all of a sudden you kind of hear a mooing.
I just kind of smile to myself a little bit, and then I just kind of make my way towards the mooing, looking for light of any sort.
Yeah, once you encounter the edges of the herd, it doesn't take long to see the meager bonfires that are basically cooking nothing at this point, but
kill one of the cow. I'm thinking to myself, as I roll up, are these cows really so worth it? I'm just I'm not sure. I can't put 2 and 2 together. I guess, I can't tell people are starving or whatever, but I was kind of roll up in, and I'm looking around for someone to be I'm hello, anyone around? Got the supplies here.
Gregory, Margaret, you hear a voice echoing out into the night.
Sister Margaret would slip out of the wagon and kind of look around. She's feeling her heart kind of pitter patter, and she's not sure if she's hallucinating Bjorn's voice or if it's really there. So she's going to step out into the night, wrap her arms around herself to kind of rub her arms to stay away the cold. And she's going to call out, Mr. Hagman, is that you, Mr. Hagman?
Hello, it's me. Hey, hello. And I just keep riding forward with my supplies.
She gets really excited and her voice cracks a little because she's so hungry. She's like, Mr. Hagman's back. Mr. Hagman's back.
Gregory, you hear Margaret calling out, and a few other people in the camp seem to get their spirits raised as well.
Under his breath, he'll say, "About damn time." And outwardly, he'll go like, "Okay, finally, yes. So get him in the camp. Let's spread out the food. Let's enjoy ourselves before we reach town, whenever that is."
Hello, is Mr. Freeman around?
A few of the cowboys start talking excitedly, and a few minutes later, Russ comes up and he's basically just wearing like his pants and suspenders, and he's shirtless. He starts walking with his thumbs inside the suspenders. Hagman,
It's me. I got the food here. I just kind of get off the horse, still not realizing people are starving. You know what I mean?
Well, what are you waiting for? Get it to the people.
What? I'm looking at him all perplexed. I'm like, where's the kitchen folk? Is Jan, you're around. Gregory, hello?
It takes a few minutes, but you eventually see your son kind of walking towards you, super slowly.
I say in Norwegian to him. I'm like, what are you doing? What's going on here? Why is everyone acting all out of it?
He kind of gives you a light smile, and then you can basically hear his stomach grumbling as he gets closer to you. And he says in Norwegian, "Well, Father, we haven't eaten since you left."
What? With all these damn cows around? Then I go back to English. I'm like, Mr. Freeman, you're going to make people starve here when you could have taken one of these cows?
I sent you, didn't I?
You said to me, yes, but my boy is starving here and everyone's starving. Are these cows more important than people surviving? What if I didn't make it? What if something happened to me?
You made it. And he looks pretty resigned, but you can make me a psychology roll if you like.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make a psychology roll. I mean, I better watch my tail and this guy pays my bills, but I failed 77 out of 60.
Maybe it's just his voice, but you were just not picking up on the empathy that you believe should be there.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just whatever. And I'm decided single-handedly I'm gonna prepare dinner then, you know what I mean? I'm unpacking. I'm not gonna ask any of these people to unpack any of this stuff, so I just tell them, I'm like, boys, that fire here, where's the kitchen equipment at?
He kind of takes you to the fire. Some people had enough energy to get one going, but it's the pots are just empty next to it and ready to go. But
yeah, I just go ahead and start working on it on my own as I'm trying to be all jovial, hey everyone, we got food coming here. It's a big meal. We'll pretend it's a big holiday feast here. And I'm just getting the food ready, kind of just still pissed off at the whole fucking
opening
situation.
tins of beans and unwrapping cornbread from paper things and just handing them out to people. Samantha Smith comes and tries to assist you, and it doesn't take very long for the food to get passed out and people start eating it pretty much immediately. You can only carry so much, but people seem to be putting it away pretty well. Yeah, I guess scene's on you guys if you want to have a quick scene here.
I go up to Gregory. I assume after he eats, you know what I mean, and I pull him aside for a second.
Yeah.
So why were no cows killed? Why did you all decide to suffer?
Well, I think the reasoning was that since we're not that far from town, that we'd kill too many of the cattle for it to be a financial loss for Mr. Baker. I guess.
You're willing to suffer and starve to death for his cattle.
Hey. That's why he sort of leans in. If we had been further away, I would not hesitate. But right now we didn't need to go that far, so it worked out for now. It worked out. All right. So we didn't have to resort to drastic measures, but if we had needed to, I would have slaughtered the cow myself. Okay. Just a couple of days of tightening the belts. That's all. It's a little bit of suffering. Well, it does body good.
I just kind of look at him for, you know what I mean? Like after he says it, there's just a couple seconds of silence where I'm just looking at him when he says that. And I'm like, but we are going to start a new life. it's not worth suffering if we don't need to. Right? Fine. It is what it is. Time to move on, I guess. But I don't like coming back to the fact that there's everyone's walking around like they're half dead because one man doesn't want to get a one cow when there's hundreds of them here.
I'm pretty sure it would have been more than just one, but that's beside the point.
All right, let's shake my head. Fine. I guess on to the next morning, I guess.
All right, let's not let this stop us from moving on.
The group of you sees to everyone being appropriately fed and making sure that they have enough provisions between everyone to make sure that they can at least get to Minneapolis, St. Paul area. And you take off pretty early the next morning, basically the same pace that you've been going at. And again, you're able to stop off and replenish supplies at this point along the way. Russ seems a bit down, and he doesn't try to stop any cowpokes from going in themselves, and elects to stay back with the cattle himself during all this. A lot of you are able to pay for provisions, and Gregory, you're able to make sure that the amount that you have is more than enough to get to the next spot, which should be a straight shot to Missouri crossing proper. But yeah, is there anything anyone wants to do while they're in the Twin Cities area?
If we have time, well, two things. One, I'm going to go take care of my needs and get some companionship after I clean myself. But two, I'm like, you said that Freeman was acting a little down and staying behind.
Yes, I mean, you might not have personally picked it up on that because of your failed psychology role earlier, but there's been scuttlebutt in camp saying he's a bit upset.
Dude, about what?
Who are you asking?
Well, whomever I hear the rumor from, you know what I mean? Like the person's like, oh, I heard that happened, but about what?
You interject on the conversation, yeah. And Sam Baker looks at you and says, well, Mr. Freeman does seem to be taking what you said to heart at this point.
I stop for a second, and I kind of generally it's nothing to dwell over, but what am I supposed to say? I come back and I see my boys half starving and no one has food, and there's food walking all around.
We are all hungry, and I'm not sure about you, but sometimes people just don't make the best decisions when they're faced with, strife that they are not used to.
I just kind of chuckle at that. I just nod my head. I turn around and ride towards town, seeing the irony. You know what I mean? The fact that I was in the same position myself, so I'm in no place to say anything. You know what I mean? So,
Margaret, you've been administering to Sister Michael, and she's been getting a little bit better as you've been taking care to, feed her some of the provisions that Bjorn provided. What's going on in your head right now?
Sister Margaret has been giving some of her rations to Sister Michael since she eats very little and she's kind of used to being on the wiry side. It's no loss to her. But as far as mindset goes, that was pretty scary for her, being near starvation. It's kind of hitting her the reality of this trek. It's no longer, she's lived in poor conditions and she was a nurse in the military, so she knows what it's like to ration things, but she's never gone hungry to that level. So it's very scary for her to think that nights and days such as that could repeat themselves in the future. And she did hear Mr. Hagman talking about, the cattle and why couldn't they just kill them? And it's a sentiment that she, of course, would have had as well. But given her place in society, she wouldn't have the room to just walk up and say, well, why don't we just kill the stinking cow? So she kind of feels that if Mr. Hagman hadn't come, Mr. Freeman would have just let them all starve to death. Or maybe if he killed the cow, it would have been for himself and his people and would have left the rest of the caravan to starve. So she's fighting with these jaded feelings towards Mr. Freeman. And at the moment, she sees that the one person that she can trust aside from the people that she came with is Mr. Hagman and his son. So she's kind of keeping a mental list of who to trust, who to not. And she's being a little bit more cautious around everyone because now she came into this feeling that she could trust everybody on the caravan, but now she sees that some people are definitely in it out for themselves. So aside from Mr. Hagman, she's kind of keeping to herself and watching for signs of people that she shouldn't be trusting.
That is a very good answer.
Yeah, I never knew my reaction to him would cause this turmoil in the camp,
No, but it's like you're faced with starvation and like you probably haven't had the discussion with him, but like out of character, he's faced with like his own personal like financial ruin versus like the responsibility of these other people. And I mean,
yeah, I get it. It's a hard thing. But for me, it's like, it went from, oh, we got bad flour. I'm just going to go get some food. We'll be fine. We'll make it work coming back. It's like, damn, dude, what the fuck happened? You know what I mean? Like,
so Bjorn, you're able to wash up in the river and then go off and find a place to satisfy your needs. Normally, you wouldn't think to, break into your savings for an extravagance like this without some more guarantees on what your future is going to be. But I'm thinking it's like a big, like calculated risk you're taking to get the stress off your mind, because you probably know how much stress kills people, especially in positions like you're in.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's a good thing you mentioned that too, is the fact that like maybe he does that because of the stress of everything he deals with too. You know what I mean? Like, plus knowing like just the almost not feeling like he found them, like what he came back to and all this shit. Like he's just like, I'm going to treat myself. Self-care, #self-care. You know what I mean?
You're a paying customer, but again, app 20, like it's more of like a carnal animalistic needs that's satisfying rather than your intellectual pursuits and social things afterwards. Maybe it's like one of the women just made fun of your pot marks, or like, I don't know, what sort of scene would you expect Bjorn to come across?
To be honest, I mean, not to like get too like, vulgar or whatever, but I think it would just be like quick into the business. You know what I mean? Like he's not like for how much he does that, he's not like a sexual person, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's almost like I said before, like how, like his only partner before his wife died was his wife. You know what I mean? So like, this is almost like like I said, just a release, you know what I mean? For what he does, but it's not like a big extravagant thing or whatever. If anything, more like we mentioned before in Chicago, not saying that this has to happen now, because maybe it can happen now, but like where like when he's done, he'll sit downstairs of this whatever place and read a book and have a beer, you know what I mean? And then just kind of like be around stuff and people, Yeah. It's a small factor of a larger process. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, it makes sense. Like you probably didn't even like care like all the poking fun that might have happened to you in the time, because you're here to fulfill base desires at this point.
That's it. Yeah, it's just like blowing your nose, you know what I mean, or whatever. It's just part of something to get him centered. Yes, a base desire, 100%.
So after a few nights, you probably take some party R&R in the Twin Cities for a bit. The decision is made to continue west. A few people from the caravan decide to lay over in the Twin Cities and decide that this is as far as they want to go. You lose like maybe one cowhand and like 2 or 3 families that were with you, but the rest of you decide that now is the time to make up some of that lost time and make for the final stress west. Places of lodging and addresses are exchanged with some of the folk being left behind, and in case a mail route is eventually established. But you wish each other the best of luck and continue west. You keep traveling again. You're on the trail for a few more weeks when, Gregory, at one point you notice that one of your daughters, Mary, is playing with like a dog, and you don't recognize the dog.
How big is it? Is it like a danger to her size, or is it just like a small that she can play with it?
She's definitely bigger than it. Like, how old did you say Mary was?
I think she's like 10-ish. Yeah, she'd be about 10-ish.
Yeah. She's like kind of like playing with the dog, and it's like it's not a huge dog or anything, but it just seems dirty and underfed.
I was like, hey there, Mary, where did that dog come from?
I don't know, Daddy, he just followed us.
When did he start following us?
Just the other day, and I saw him last night, and he came around today, and I gave him a piece of bacon, and look, he's such a good boy.
Right. And I look at the dog. Like, can I tell what it is, or is it just like, is it like a puppy, or is it like just?
It appears to be a young dog. It's not a puppy per se. Like it has like a lot of dirt kind of like in its fur, but he kind of like looks at you and like does one of those head tilts and goes,
All right. So he's got to be. He's probably from around here somewhere. Probably living somewhere. Huh. Right. Why don't you run along? I'll see if I can. So, do you want to keep him?
can I?
Maybe I'll have to think about that and talk with your mother and see what supplies we could possibly save for it. And I start looking around, seeing like you're trying to see in his head, like he's trying to, there's a dog out here and it seems friendly to a person, so had to have been around people at some point. So
Yeah. Mary looks at you gleaming and kind of takes off running. Abby, Mark, Daddy said we could keep the doggy.
and in his head he's going like. And so in his head, Gregory is like, well, it could possibly be a good thing. He'll like, sort of look at the dirty dog and he'll be like, well, it doesn't look rabid or going to attack him. Okay, I'll take a chance with this. Maybe, I guess I could maybe mention it to somebody to keep an eye out for another camp somewhere or something. And so, yeah, I'll take the dog, probably like just pick it up and just be like, after we get some water on you, get this mud off.
Yeah, and you're like right next to the river, so cleaning the dog off isn't too difficult. You're cleaning him off, and you're noticing that like it looks at one point he might have been like in some sort of fight. There's like an old wound, but it looks healed over. It's hard to tell what breed it is. It's definitely canine. It's at least 35 pounds, but yeah, it's definitely canine.
I ain't quite seen one like you before, but there's a lot of things I haven't seen. Maybe you're like some of them European breeds or something. I'll like go to find Bjorn. Bjorn.
Yeah, hello, yeah.
So, but my daughter found this dog here, Don Mary. You ever seen anything like that? I don't recognize the breed. Is it kind of like, do you know anything you've seen?
I look at the dog. Does it look like anything I've seen?
It's definitely a mutt of some sort.
Yes. I'm thinking for a second. I kind of like look at his daughter real quick, and I wink at her, just to like kind of like so he doesn't see that. I look back at Gregory. I'm like, it is a very fine breed indeed, Gregory. It is known as the Norwegian trail sniffer.
Trail sniffer.
Yeah, Norwegian trail sniffer. Very nice dog. She's really good with the little girls too.
All right. He'll look a little bit sideways at the at that how she's facing it. All right. Well, we found it. You haven't seen any like other tracks or aside from us around here or something, just because it seems pretty friendly for being wild.
And I'm like, have I seen any tracks around since we've came about?
You haven't specifically been looking for them, and you're traveling with almost 600 head of cattle.
Yeah, it's too hard for me to tell. Like, to be honest, got so much trampling going on. Anyways, I haven't really been looking.
Right. Well, I guess must just be good fortune from the Lord then.
Yeah, Norwegian trail sniffers are very prodigious dogs. Yes, they are.
All right. Well, I think I fashion would collar for him and stuff. All right, so I hand him back. I put the dog down. I'll give it like, okay. So you talk to your sibling. You have the honor of naming this proud specimen. He says he has no idea what the word specimen means. He just knows it's fancy.
Okay, yeah, your children are overjoyed and run off with the dog and start arguing over what to call it. Anyways, you keep traveling for a few more nights, and one night you decide that this is a good spot to make camp, and you settle down. You actually have full bellies for a change, and you're making yourselves comfortable, and you got dinner. Some of the cowboys decide to go break off and get their like harmonicas and their banjos and start playing a little bit. Yeah, Gregory, your wife Samantha, kind of like puts her back up against the wagon wheel, covers the two of you with a wool blanket, and pulls out a well-worn book and kind of offers you like the cover of it.
Thank you. And I sort of lean down and just be like, all right, so I look at the cover and I sort of nod in approval, and I sort of hand it back to her, and it's like, you can start reading.
Okay. She opens it up, and like her page is marked by a ribbon, and this is something that you do like not every night, but most nights. But she pulls the ribbon out and starts reading. Lo, 'tis a gala night within the lonesome laddered years. An angel throng, bewinged bed night, in veils and drowned tears, sit in a theatre to see a play of hopes and fears, while the orchestra breathes fitfully the music of the spheres. And you recognize it as a poem written by Poe. It's one of your prized possessions, collective works, all bound together. And Bjorn, at some point, you decide to get up and check on the cattle because you heard something making noise in the distance, and you hear the horses unease. So you go just to see if things are okay. Yeah, Margaret, you're kind of lying awake as well. Your eyes are going in and out. You have a full belly for the first time in ages, and Sister Michael seems to be on the mend, and you're just kind of like looking. Your eyes are going open and shut as you're kind of falling asleep by the warmth of the fire. But can I get a spot hidden roll at this point, Margaret?
I failed 62 out of 55.
All right, and yeah, you're not alarmed or anything at this point. Like the smoke of the campfire is just kind of like maybe getting your eyes, and you kind of shift over a little bit and just listen as Samantha Smith continues to read. And Bjorn, you're looking around, and you found the horse that's been causing a bunch of noise, and you realize that it is saddled, but it's just walking around without a rider.
I'm right away going into like alertness mode. You know what I mean? I'm looking around right away to see if there's someone that is off the horse, or like what does the saddle look like? Does it look like a European saddle, or does it look like something a native would ride?
It looks like one of like the Western style saddles that you've been using. It has like the horn up front. You recognize the horse as one of them that the drovers brought with them, and like you're the only one who has like a specific horse.
Oh, okay. Yes. So they kind of rotate the horses. Huh?
Yeah.
And normally, would there be someone on this horse watching the cattle at night?
Well, you just think it's strange that the horse is walking around with a saddle on.
I'm going to go look to see if I could find whoever was riding that.
All right. Yep. So you go off and start looking, and you're definitely getting this like uneasy feeling of like being watched by something. And like you're noticing that like the cattle are kind of like all kind of lowing and like making a bit more noise, almost like they're anticipating something's just off, and it's just giving you this uneasy feeling.
Yeah, this isn't good. I'm going to see if I can see anything in the cattle or anything walking around. Like, can I do a spot hidden or something like that?
Yeah, sure. Make a roll for me.
I got 20 out of 50.
So your eyes are scanning the prairie, and they like kind of pass over, and you're seeing smoke from the fire, but like then you notice some smoke that it's kind of like pluming forth from behind one of the wagons, and you notice that it's blue, which
what does that signify?
Well, you can make me a natural world roll.
I mean, I got 20% worth the shot. You know what I mean?
It's a shot.
Yeah, 49 out of 20. I did not make it. So no idea. I have no idea. I'm going to go ahead towards it though with my rifle. Or I have my pistols with me, so my rifle's with my horse, or would be on my horse. So I'm just going to kind of like go forward, like maybe draw one of my pistols just to be, you know what I mean, safe. Because this is just has me feeling like you said, feels like someone's watching me.
Yeah, and you just got this weird feeling from the animals. Back at the campfire, Margaret, you're smelling something just kind of weird right now, and you're listening to Samantha as she reads, and she seems kind of like oblivious to what's going on, and Gregory is just kind of like in and out as well, but like you smell like the smell that kind of reminds you of myrrh that's used in some of like the Catholic ceremonies throughout the year. That's probably the closest thing you could think of. What's going on in your head as you're kind of like just lying there, like listening, getting smoke in your face?
She was listening to the story. I imagine her, she was kind of bobbing her head, kind of falling asleep, waking up, and she kind of jolts awake with a cough. Being so wiry, I imagine that, her nose is very sensitive. So she scrunches her nose up. She smells something. It's familiar in some way, but completely foreign in another. So she lifts her head up and looks around to see if maybe some sort of metal had fallen into the campfire to make that kind of unfamiliar smell rather. And when she can't find the source right away, she kind of pauses and says to Samantha, I'm so sorry to interrupt, Mrs. Smith, but do you smell that?
She stops mid-sentence. Smell what? Gregory, what's going on in your head right now?
At first, he was just sitting back enjoying the familiar story, but now that it's been interrupted, he's like, okay, what? Well, he'll like try to, you had to be interrupted for a reason. What's the reason about? And he'll like try to take a sniff of the air too.
Oh, you're a blacksmith. That is definitely sulfur.
He like, just, that's sulfur. Wait, sulfur? He'll like get up at that, like, did we bring any sulfur with us? And he's like in his head, he's like, wait, so he's like trying to list down the possible sources of where sulfur will be burning anywhere near here.
I mean, you have probably some like metals. I mean, metallurgy like kits and powders, but that wouldn't be anywhere near a fire. Yeah, you're kind of noticing like this blue smoke starting to build up and billow from like around your camp.
At that point, he is, I don't know, would he still fire at that or not? I don't know. I definitely think he would be like, okay, there's something going wrong here. He'll just be like, he'll tell somebody, get the children and stuff. I'll go and check out what's going on.
Both you and Margaret kind of hear like the snoring of Johann, who's also sleeping by the fire.
I'll give him like a nudge awake.
He stirs, opens his eyes, and then kind of closes them again. So Bjorn, you're making your way towards what exactly?
Wherever the smoke is at, where I see the fire or anything like where I see the fire, that's where I'm heading towards.
So you start to get closer, and then you notice that the blue smoke is not actually emanating from the fire itself, but rather from behind one of the wagons.
I'm creeping silently, trying to stealth my way over to there, see what the fuck is going on. Because at this point, he's like, what is this? He's got to get to the bottom of whatever this is,
Can you make me a listen roll?
Yes, I can. And my listen is 50, so I'm going to make that roll. Hold on 1 second. I fail with a 96.
So you can't hear a thing over the sound of your own heart beating and your own breath as you're making your way closer to what's going on. Like your mind kind of darts back to your time in Oslo when you're creeping along some dark tunnels out the city limits, and you were looking to put an end to one of these like groups of people who would go out and do some sort of like ritual in the dark or some sort of vile acts. That you haven't been thinking about this since your talk with Margaret weeks earlier, but now it's kind of front and center in your mind, and you're making your way over to the wagon, and you recognize it as the missionary wagon, and your eyes kind of like scan the horizon looking for threats, and it kind of like skips over a shape and then darts back over to focus on it, and you see like this humanoid figure on the ground, and there's big like bellowing bluish smoke shaped outlining this like some sort of monstrous beast just like chewing and staring at you, and it's chewing on this body, and the body's not moving at all, and it's just glaring at you, chewing and chewing and chewing. And this would be a perfect time for a sanity roll.
All right, let me go ahead and roll my sanity. My sanity is 50, so let's go ahead and roll this. 17.
All right, so that is a pass. So that's a D3 sanity loss.
3.
All right, so you have permanently lost 3 points of sanity. What do you do?
Shoot. Shoot. That's what I do. I got my pistol out. I'm just fucking like, that's his instinct. You know what I mean? Like something's looking at him that's mawing on someone and I got a gun. I'm shooting.
All right, roll me your firearms roll, your pistol skill.
Okay. Firearm handgun is 55.
Yep.
Go ahead. Let's roll that. 69, but I'd like to force the roll, please.
By that, you mean
push the roll.
Push the roll?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the consequence if you fail this time?
The gun jams, and it can't be used until I sit there and have time to take it apart and fuck with it. Because I got 2 pistols, right? All right, cool. Let's go ahead and do this. 49.
So the gun goes off, and a bullet runs through the air and hit something on it. Can you roll me your damage?
Yes. What's the damage for a pistol?
It depends what kind of pistol you have.
Damn, dude. Like I would say, like a normal 6-shooter. You know what I mean? Like the cowpoke.
What do you think? Like a Colt 44?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
The damage on that would be 1d10 plus 2.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Give me 1 second. I rolled a 5 for a total of 7 damage.
All right. So you see your bullet pierce through this like shadowy beast shape, and you see a big hole kind of like open up in it, and it's still chewing. It's looking at you, and then you watch as the hole slowly closes up again, and it stares at you. Gregory and Margaret, you heard a gunshot go off in close proximity to your camp.
At that point, Gregory's going to run and get his gun.
Margaret's going to jump up like a meerkat and just kind of follow behind Gregory because she knows he has a gun.
All right. So the two of you are running off probably towards where would you keep your gun, Gregory?
I definitely think he'd like. Well, I think he has like a pistol that he sometimes carries, but I think he has like a rifle, like a shotgun or something. But he keeps both of them usually like in his wagon or something because he spends most of his time there.
Okay. So it's like you have like a revolver and like a hunting rifle of some sort.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So you go.
He'll grab like the rifle.
Okay, you head over to your wagon, and you're kind of fumbling for where you keep it, and it's not something you've thought about having to use for quite some time, and you're kind of fumbling around in the back of the wagon where you keep it, and eventually you like find like the cloth that you keep it wrapped in, so it's like nice and clean and oily and protected from rust, and you yank out the rifle, and right next to it's another little pouch that has a little pistol, and you pull that as well.
And I look and I just look to the sister, hold this for a bit, and just like make sure to like load up both guns.
Margaret, Gregory just passed you a gun.
Her hands are shaking. She doesn't know what to do with this. And being a member of the church, killing is not really something that she thinks is a good thing. So she takes the gun with shaking hands and looks at him and says, "What do you expect me to do with this?"
I expect you to hold it till I load it, okay?
Okay.
Go get Johan. Go get Johan. If you want to go get Johan,
Okay.
she can shoot.
Okay. So she's gonna hold the gun as if it's, loaded, and she's gonna race towards Johan and try to wake him up.
So did you hand Margaret the pistol or the rifle?
The pistol.
Okay. So you find Johan is like slowly stirring from his sleep. You kind of nudged him earlier, but he's had a really hard day's work, and like he seems kind of out of it as he's trying to piece together what's happening, Margaret.
Johan, darling, I need you to wake up. I'm so sorry to have to do this, but something's in the camp. Something or someone in her mind, she thinks it could be, maybe the natives gave away their position since they knew exactly where they were heading. And we had a gun firing. Mr. Smith has handed me this gun. I don't really know what to do with it, but you know what to do with it. Can you come? Where's your father?
And like you notice a bit more like Norwegian twinged accent in his voice as he's trying to piece together what's going on. And he's looking around and he's not seeing Bjorn anywhere. And he's looking a bit panicked at this point. My father's gone. He's gone.
Oh no. So now she's panicking because her knight in shining armor, Mr. Hagman, could have been on the wrong end of that shot. So she's like now suddenly very determined. She's handing Johan the gun and saying, "You need to wake up. We have got to find your father. We heard a shot outside. I don't know what caused it. I don't know who it came from. I thought your father would be here. But if he's not here, I am very concerned. We have to find him."
He accepts the pistol from you and kind of scrambles to his feet, and he like reaches into his own belt, and then realizing it's not there, he kind of starts digging around in the wool blankets and produces a second pistol, and he kind of like goes back over and he's like, right you are, sister. Okay, which way did he head?
So she's kind of looking around in confusion because she has just woken up herself. She has no clue what's going on. So she says, "Mr. Smith was looking for, I think, his own gun or perhaps ammunition. I just follow his wife. She's outside. We're all kind of, it's a mess right now. I'm sorry. I can't be very helpful. I'm a bit panicked at the moment."
He nods and starts walking off in a hurried pace towards a direction which you think Samantha headed in. Bjorn, this thing is continuing to like basically eye fuck the shit out of you and keep eating from the corpse as you had put a bullet in it and doesn't seem to mind at all.
Yeah, at this stage, I'm like in this conundrum. Like I want to like run, but then I know if I run though, this thing's gonna probably go through, you know what I mean, and hurt people. So I'm like start screaming out top of my lungs. I'm like, hit, and I'm just like fucking gonna fire again at it, you know what I mean? This time aim for its head.
Are you getting any closer to it, or are you staying at your same distance?
Staying at my same distance. I'm not gonna push it, you know what I mean? Like
Right. So, I mean, I'm not one to use a bunch of pulp rules, but are you trying to like just do an aim shot, or are you just trying to unload at it?
I'm just gonna say unload. Because I mean, aim shot seems so like fucking like he's just lost 3 points of sanity. You know what I mean? He's seen this thing being mod, so he's just gonna fire again. But he's definitely like trying to fight the result. He knows like he could potentially be the one who stops this thing from moving on into the village or give them time to react. Like he's giving them time to react. You know what I mean? So, so I'm gonna fire again at this fucking thing while the eyeball fucks me. Hopefully, hits it in one of its eyes.
Now, is Bjorn what you would call a overly cautious person who would leave one of the chambers empty, or is he a kind of like a cocky person or someone who has
Overly cautious.
Okay, so you probably have a chamber empty, so you probably have 4 bullets left that you're going to try to fan.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm glad I bought some bullets after giving them to the native dude.
Yeah.
You go to fire, it goes click, and like, oh crap.
All right, we're just going to make a ruling on this. So you have 4 shots you're going to try to put off. Each one is going to give you an additional 10% penalty on your shot. But
okay.
So what's your what is your skill? With
55.
55. So you got your first one. So that's plus 30. So 55 minus 30 is 25. So you can make 4 shots 35 or better just to put them down range at it.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do that. 4 shots at 35%.
Yeah.
Right.
Roll 4 separate ones.
Okay. So I got 66, which is a fail, 12, which is a pass, 8, which is a pass, and 28, which is a pass.
All right. So that is 3 hits. Can you roll your D10 plus 2 3 times?
All right. First is 5, second is 7, and third is 4. So 16 damage.
All right. The thing stops chewing as 3 more holes appear in it, and it is kind of like just standing there, and you're trying to gauge a reaction from it because, like, normally if you put 3 holes into something, it definitely would go down, especially with a revolver that size. And it just kind of looks at you, and all of a sudden this like it opens its mouth and this like appendage shoots out and grabs at you, and like this appendage kind of just starts like wrapping around your bottom of your leg and just starts wrapping, and you just feel it kind of like constricting and getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Can you make me a dex roll in order to see if you can stay up?
42 out of 75.
So it's pulling at you and like trying to pull you down, and you're just like, you're able to stay up, but you're just feeling incredibly like weak from all this. And can you subtract 3 POW permanently from your score?
Damn, got it. Down to 57.
Gregory, you have passed off your pistol to Margaret, who went scared into the night looking for Johann, and you're standing there with your rifle. What are you doing?
All right, so he's going to rush towards where he heard the shot, and presumably the Bjorn's yelling and more shots.
All right, so you're kind of rushing, like you feel sort of like you did as a soldier rushing into battle at this point. Rifle in front of you, like kind of hurtling the campfire. You're making your way towards the shot, and you see like the blue smoke that was starting to build up in front of you, and you see like it looks like someone had roped Bjorn's leg in some sort of lasso, and he's like kind of dancing around trying to stay up. So then you round the corner like the wagon behind him, and your eyes are fixed on this like beastly creature of sort. It's just really difficult to like describe, and it just like there's 3 holes in it that are slowly starting to close up, and it just looks like there's pieces of like person falling out of its mouth, and it's like, it looks like there's like a tongue jettisoning from its face, I guess, wrapping around Bjorn's leg, and it's just like a lot to take in. So can I get a sanity roll, please?
Yep, 89 out of 60.
Oh, your luck could not hold out forever. That is actually a sand loss of 1d20, please.
Oh, no, I'm gonna go crazy. See?
It's gonna be that blacksmith who murders his family that urban legends created about Bismarck, you know.
D20. Oh, please let it be a 1. 16.
Wow. So immediately lose 16 points permanently from your sanity. And now is the time where you make an intelligence roll, and you kind of want to fail this.
Okay. Oh, no. Well, at least my intelligence isn't that great, so.
Call Cthulhu, one of the games where ignorance is bliss.
A 6. Is that a good or thing or bad? I don't know.
It's bad.
Well,
You passed it. You wanted to fail it.
You passed it. You passed the roll. So you fully come to the realization that this is some sort of otherworldly, unnatural demon from God knows where. And like, you're kind of just frozen in place as like Bjorn shouting and shooting kind of like turns your head to the shouting and helplessness that you experienced in the war. And you're kind of like looking at Bjorn, like trying to will yourself to help him, but realizing that you can't do it because like you're just frozen there. And it just reminds you of the many soldiers that you saw maimed and helpless, trying to just pull themselves into safety. So what do you do, Gregory?
I'm not sure, and I'm pretty sure that was 16 in one go. I think that's a temporary.
That is a temporary insanity, correct? So, but what do you immediately do?
I think he's going to just start screaming and just start shooting at the thing. Just because he's like, oh my God, this thing should not be here. Just get it out of my sight. Get it out of my sight. Die already, die.
Let's establish what kind of rifle you have. You said it's some sort of hunting rifle?
Yeah, I'd say, yeah.
Would it be like a carbine or like a bolt action?
I think bolt action would be the most likely.
So let's just have you roll your rifle skill real quick, Quinn.
All right.
And you can give me a
17 out of 40.
Well, you hit, so give me a 2d6 plus 2d6 plus 1. Let's go for.
That's 10.
All right. So you're realizing, Bjorn, that like this thing is grabbing hold of you and it's trying to pull you closer and closer and closer. And then all of a sudden your leg is like released and you see a puff of smoke and it's just you and Gregory standing there.
He's probably still screaming his head off.
Who's still screaming his head off.
I'm standing there like looking at him, just don't know what to do right now. I'm just at a loss, you know? Almost like I can imagine him standing there until people start coming to see what the commotion is, you know what I mean?
Eventually a crowd gathers and here's Gregory left with this wild look in his eyes holding a gun.
Hunters Hunted 2 Corruption follows 4 hunters who have been plagued by the Supernatural Society and is a great place to start if you're looking for more games to listen to by Twin Cities by Night and you enjoyed Missouri Crossing.